Wow, we just had a little Bitcoin nudge or a little Bitcoin pump on the day of the Bitcoin conference in Las Vegas, the big Bitcoin conference in Las Vegas. That pump could have come from this announcement that came out of Trump media, where they announced that they're going to have a $2.5 billion Bitcoin treasury deal. So similar to a MicroStrategy, but a $2.5 billion Bitcoin strategy deal. But that's not the real movement today, and that's not the real story today, because if you look at the ETH chart, and specifically the ETH chart against Bitcoin, you can see that there's been an ETH BTC breakout, which means that ETH is actually in the lead. And the reason why ETH is actually in the lead could be because of this new MicroStrategy type company that actually launched for ETH, and that was launched by Joseph Lubin, who's actually the co-founder of Ethereum and the founder of Consensus, and he seems to have launched a MicroStrategy, but for ETH. That MicroStrategy is launched under the it's launched under the ticker SBET on the markets, and you can see that ticker is actually up 400% today for a stock, 400%. So that's SBET. And then if you look, another thing I want to talk about today is I want to talk about Japan, because in Japan you can see the yields have actually absolutely collapsed. Now, what could have happened to collapse the yields by 10% after all the times that we've been saying that Japan yields are rising? What has actually happened to collapse these yields? Is it a good thing or a bad thing? Could Japan actually have saved the markets, or are they on the verge of actually collapsing a lot of markets? So massive show today, because we're also going to talk about the Nvidia earnings, which land up coming out tomorrow. So big show today. So if that sounds good to you, you need to not subscribe to that channel. You need to subscribe to our channel. Let's get the show on the road, guys. Okay, holy moly, another beautiful green down the bubbles. Just look at these, just look at the bubbles today. And I don't know if you saw in the newsroom today, but that's where I actually got the news that Trump actually did the purchase. It was here in the bubbles newsroom that it actually happened. So if you're not already using it, I really suggest that you use this, because this is where all the news comes out very quickly. There's the ETH news that came out over there. The Trump story actually came out. There we go. Trump, DJT Media, Donald J. Trump Media, $2.5 billion financing from 50 investors for Bitcoin Vault, which is like a MicroStrategy, but actually happening with Trump. So lots to talk about today. We're going to talk about the bubbles. We're going to talk about the ETH move. We're going to talk about the Bitcoin move. We're going to talk about Japan. We're going to talk about Nvidia earnings. At the end of the show, I've been degening into a certain token. I want to share it with you guys. I've already shared it with the guys on Frontrunner, but I do want to share it with you guys. But remember, that's like for the real degens. So big show today. I need you guys to do me one big favor. So I've noticed that in the last little while, you guys haven't been obliterating likes like you used to. And as a result, that the show doesn't get distributed like it used to. So I'm asking you for a quick favor. Just obliterate the like button. I'll do my best to bring you guys alpha. You obliterate the like button, and that's what you call a symbiotic relationship. So we're gonna have like a symbiotic relationship. All right, let's get into now that we've begun our symbiotic relationship. Let's quickly take a look at the market. So you got Bitcoin above 110,000, and you know what that means? You know what above 110,000 means on Bitcoin? It means that our man James Wynn, from I don't know where he's from the UK, the lad from the UK, he lives to fight another day, and he's probably actually up. He's up $3.5 million on his trade. He's got almost a $1 billion position open, $807 million position open. He's paid $193,000 in funding. Holy moly. The notional is 7,307. By the way, I'm getting this information from Coin Market Manager. They've got this thing called the HyperTracker, which is a hyper liquid wallet tracker. And I think this is the best one. I'm enjoying this much more than I'm enjoying Hyperscan. I must be honest. They've got much better information, and it's just laid out a lot better. So you can see that he is currently, let's look at his P&L, some P&L, 2.316 million on the trades that's actually open. What you can see is he actually landed up closing his 𝗕𝗊𝗙 short. What did you guys think of him yesterday? I mean, I loved him. He's such a lad. He's such a great guy. But I mean, he is a DJ, and he's more DJ than anyone I've ever met before. I think also like a great story to hear that, like, you know, there's the guy who comes from a bad area, is absolutely worth nothing or was worth nothing. And look at him now, like millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars. That's absolutely amazing. The irony is that he's actually started like a movement, and now there's people that are counter trading him. So, and there's people that are trading with him. So in other words, some people are just following his trades, and some people are actually counter trading him. This is a trader, when he goes long, when James Wynn goes long, this trader goes short. When James Wynn goes short, he goes long. How cool was it yesterday that like the guy was a big banter fan? You saw like he played that old alarm clock song. It's like it really shows you like just how far the reach of the banter community is, and it's really, really, really amazing. Great guy, but huge gambler. I agree. S&P 500 was closed. It is now open. It's open after Memorial Day. So this is the first time after Memorial Day and it's open. You can see that it's down 0.35%. So not really much happening here on the S&P 500. Let's look at the bubbles. As I said, we're looking at the bubbles. This we could just look at the newsroom and see anything. Trump says he's satisfied at the 50% tariff. Okay, blah, blah, more tariff talk. Main thing around the bubbles that I'm looking at today is I'm looking at the ETH move in the bubbles. You can see a lot of these like Lidos and all of these RVs are ETH tokens. If you go into the top 200, what you can see here, Josh, have I told you how amazing this new bubbles is, bro? It's so amazing. It really is. Look at Eigenlayers up, Frax is up. That shows you that there's an ETH move that's actually happening. The ETH move, you can also actually see if you plot ETH against Bitcoin, you can actually see that there's been a breakout, another breakout, small breakout and of a little flag. So effectively what you had is you had the big breakout over here. Then you had this flag type pattern over here. I'm not going to draw it very accurately, but there's that little flag type pattern. And now you've had a little breakout out of that flag, which could mean that we could go like probably as high as there. Like we could go quite high on this ratio. And I think that the news that drove this is the fact that we have I'm not going to say a MicroStrategy competitor, but we have an ETH version of MicroStrategy which has launched. Now, the truth is that I actually have been approached by lots of people, not lots, probably 3 or 4 players in the market telling me that they're about to launch an ETH version of MicroStrategy. This one seems kind of unique, and the reason why it seems kind of unique is because it's actually backed by Ethereum co-founder Joseph Lubin. So it's backed by Consensus and Joseph Lubin. Consensus is Joseph Lubin's company. You can see if I make that a little bit bigger. SharpLink Gaming announced that it has entered into securities purchase agreement for private placement in public equity for the purchase of 69,313 shares of common stock at a price of $6.15. For the expected aggregate proceeds, $425 million, and they're going to use that to actually buy Ethereum. So now you've got a MicroStrategy, which is going to be like the Ethereum. So that's the actual announcement. Consensus Software acted as lead investor, and the offering included participation by prominent crypto venture capital firms such as 𝗕𝗏𝗄, Electric Capital, Pantera Capital, Arrington Capital, Galaxy Digital. So a lot of big players in this, and a lot of these players have got ETH treasuries. So I'm sure they'll all just dump the ETH treasuries into this actual vehicle. What you can see is that this gaming company, SharpLink Gaming, is now trading at 339% up on the day today, which is absolutely amazing. I wonder if we can go here and just go to stocks and just press SBET. Will it come up here? Oh, is the market cap too small? Okay. I get it. Okay, Josh, we must fix that. We must do small caps also. You know, like our community is a bunch of degens, and we want to degen into small things, Josh. We're not like blue chip investors, and you'll see that at the end of the show, Josh. Anyway, someone says start degening, John. Let the dust for there. Yeah, I'm gonna show you. I'm degening into 2 tokens. I want to show them to you. One of them is in GameFi. One of them is in InternetFi, which is actually amazing. All right, then, as I said, like this is quite weirdly timed, don't you think, that ETH announces that they're launching their version of a MicroStrategy on the day of the Bitcoin conference? Like today's day 1 of the big Bitcoin conference. I don't think that that's a coincidence, guys. I don't think that's a coincidence. From the Bitcoin conference, we also got news. We got Trump announces a $2.5 billion Bitcoin treasury deal. Also not a coincidence, because the Trump family is actually talking at the Bitcoin conference. I'm expecting a lot of these announcements in the next 3 to 4 days because of the Bitcoin conference. So that might actually be quite big. Otherwise, if you look at the bubbles, the other thing that we need to probably talk about is the Nvidia earnings, because generally tomorrow is actually the Nvidia earnings. And when we get Nvidia earnings, you can see today the stock is up 1.97%. But Nvidia earnings can make or break the market, right? So you know that. And what we are expecting around Nvidia earnings is we are expecting a plus 66% in revenue, so $43 to $43 billion from last quarter 39, from the quarter before 35. But they're expecting actually a drop in EPS. So if you look at their earnings per share, you can see that they're actually expecting a drop in earnings per share for the first time since I think no, these were equal. So it's in a couple of years. They actually are expecting a drop in earnings per share. What caused this drop in earnings per share? Well, believe it or not, what caused this drop in earnings per share is actually Trump, believe it or not. So because there was here, I'll show you. I'll actually read it to you here. So Nvidia earnings, the estimates fell for the first time in years after the company took a $5.5 billion charge because of export restrictions on the H20 AI chip. So now this is that H20, the very sensitive AI chip that the US doesn't want getting into the wrong hands and really doesn't want it getting into China's hands. And so specifically any country that deals with China is not allowed to buy this H20 chip. And that cost Nvidia $5.5 billion, right? But to counteract that, the president went on a deal-making rampage in the Middle East and did a whole lot of deals, an AI deals, which actually boosted the thing. So increased turnover, slightly down on the earnings for Nvidia. That's exactly what we're expecting. Generally, we know that if Nvidia beats, Bitcoin goes up. If Nvidia misses, Bitcoin goes down, believe it or not. So we need to see if they beat, and then hopefully Bitcoin will follow exactly the same pattern. Generally, the tokens that actually end up going up when Nvidia actually runs are actually the AI tokens. I see 𝗙𝗘𝗏 going up slightly. Big fan of 𝗙𝗘𝗏, by the way. Big fan of 𝗙𝗘𝗏. I think them and Cookie, I think, are really serving as the data layer for the new AI agent economy. By the way, speaking of AI, I did drop something today in Frontrunners. I left you guys a voice note. I don't know if you guys actually saw the voice note, right? So I left you guys this voice note over here. And this voice note basically says it's the last time to buy. And you can see exactly what token I called. So we'll talk about that at the end of the show. Last chance to buy SQD, I think. I think there's a slew of announcements that are happening this week on SQD. You heard it here first. Like SQD, I called it at 6 cents, 6.5 cents. It's now 25 cents. And I think it's going to go up this week because there are 2 major exchange listings and about 74 billion announcements coming out this week. So if that sounds good to you, you know exactly what you need to do. I did actually call it in Frontrunners, and I left you guys a beautiful voice note.
GM guys, just a couple of things. Number one, this is a very, very, very big week for SQD. You're going to hear a lot of...
I left a lot of confidential information in that voice note, which I'm not going to air on air because then I'll never get information ever again from anyone. All right, so that is the macro stocks news. Now let's talk about Japan and what actually happened here, because you'll remember that the Japanese rates were going up at an unprecedented pace. And the reason why the Japanese rates were going up at an unprecedented pace is because no one wanted Japanese bonds. No one wanted to buy Japanese credit. And so in order to get people to buy the Japanese credit, what they had to do was they had to increase the rates. Today, wakey, rise and shine. We wake up in the morning, we see that the Japanese yields drop substantially by 11%. What could that be? Is it mysterious buyers actually coming into the market en masse? Imagine, like, all of a sudden, from no one wanting Japanese bonds, everybody wants Japanese bonds. Josh, could there be a mystery buyer of these Japanese bonds that hasn't been buying bonds before? What do you think? No, the answer is definitely not. There's no mystery buyer. No one wants Japanese bonds because they're a bunch of horseshit. What you can see is that the Japanese bond market actually has no demand. There's no liquidity. Nobody wants to buy Japanese bonds. The reason why they don't want to buy Japanese bonds is because the Japanese economy is falling apart. The people are all very old. They're not producing. The Japanese debt to GDP ratio is above 230%, which is like the second highest in the world, except for Saudi Arabia, which is 270%. No, is it Saudi Arabia? No, it's not Saudi Arabia. It's like Somalia or something. Researchers just send me that document that shows the actual rankings. Anyway, what we see today is 2 things that are happening from the Japanese central bank. The first thing is it is tweaking the way that it sells bonds. It is selling shorter maturity bonds instead of longer maturity bonds. And the reason why that's happening is, just think about it like this. If there is uncertainty, you don't want to be buying a 40-year bond. You're like, bro, I don't know what's going to happen in 40 years. And so what happens is you tweak the credit market by selling more shorter dated bonds. And that's exactly what the Japanese central bank did. Yellen did this in 2023. And the reason why they do this is to just get calm in the market. So the first thing that they did, the first thing that they did was they announced, they slightly changed the issuance of the bonds, right? Let me just give you the right information around the debt to GDP ratios. I was actually just testing to see if the researchers are actually watching the show, because Sudan, there it is. Sudan and then Japan. Okay. Then what you can see, the other thing that's happening is that the central bank of Japan has actually stepped into the market and they're starting to buy bonds. Now, there's a double-edged sword here. The first thing is that the central bank of Japan has come into the market and started buying bonds to save the market, which is effectively the Japanese government putting money into its own economy, printing money, buying its own debt with its own money. Imagine if a corporate company did that. Imagine like a corporate company printed money to buy its own shares. Crazy. It could never work. At the same time, what we're seeing in Japan, which is really bad, is that Japanese life insurers are actually selling their bonds. And the reason why they're selling their long-dated bonds is because, think about it like this. If the bond yield drops, if the bond yield rises, okay, so let's assume that the bond yield actually rises. Let's just quickly refresh this. Okay. JPY, JP40 year. Okay. So, no, not PY. 𝗕𝗬𝗕𝗏. Okay, so think about it like this. When bond rates go up, the value of the 40-year bonds and 30-year bonds really declines, right? And so the problem is that these insurers, these life insurance companies, these long-term insurers are holding their treasuries in these bonds. And as the interest rates actually go up, their assets on their balance sheet are shrinking a lot. And that's declaring these companies almost insolvent. And so what we're seeing now is we're seeing a massive crisis where life insurers are actually starting to dump Japanese bonds. They don't want to be holding the bonds because if they do, they may not be able to meet their obligations, which is a big problem. Not good in Japan. I mean, and you can see they have a big problem. Look at this. They have, oh, come on, man. We don't want to read. We just want to talk about, look at their CPI numbers. So their CPI is gradually on the up. Their last reading was 3.5%, and the previous reading was 3.2%. At the same time, I'm reading like these horror articles about like how much the price of rice is in Japan. I don't know if you guys have read this, but like these crazy articles about like how much the price of rice has been increasing in Japan. I don't know why it's not loading. What's happening here? What's actually going on here? All right, so lots of inflation. At the same time, they've got an interest rate decision. So there's an interest rate decision which is happening on the 18th of June, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, it's the 16th of June. There's an interest rate decision that's happening in Japan. Now, the last time they didn't increase rates, but the question is whether this time they're actually going to increase rates. Now, let me show you what the market expectations are. The market expectations are that they actually won't increase rates. Okay, we'll wait for the consensus, but we think that they actually won't increase rates in Japan. If they do increase rates, if they catch us by surprise and they actually do increase rates, that's a rate increase that the market actually isn't expecting. And if you have a rate increase that the market actually isn't expecting, that's not really a good thing. So remember, all eyes on alert. Put it into your diaries. 16th of June. June 16th, hardest. Public holiday in South Africa, right? We must remember to watch the Japanese interest rate decision. Drinks break. Someone here says, who cares about Japan? Sam, if Japan increase interest rates and the cash and carry trade starts to unwind, everybody cares if that happens. Anyway, if you want more of that, it's all in Good Morning Crypto, which is our free newsletter. There's a link below. It's free. I'm not even going to show you where the link is because it's so free. Also talks about Bitcoin breaking out tomorrow to 115,000. Check that. I haven't read that story yet. I'll read it afterwards. Okay, yeah, that's the story. That's the news around Japan. That's the news around Ethereum. That's the news around Bitcoin. I don't know if you guys saw this. This is quite a big story. Remember that Coinbase data breach that there was? Remember that was like the Coinbase data breach which Brian Armstrong was like talking about and whatever else. Now, remember they got like name, addresses and stuff like that, government driver's licenses and stuff like that. Now these things are popping up on like Instagram sites and stuff like that. So there was a famous rapper, Migos' Instagram account was hacked. And on that account, there's like pictures of Raj doing KYC. Raj is the co-founder of Solana and a whole lot of other people doing KYC. And people think that they actually got this from Coinbase. Crazy, crazy, crazy stuff. You need to stay off the dark web. What's that website called? We spoke about it this morning on the morning call. What's it called? The one where you go and check if you've actually had data breaches on your name. I've been pawned, or have I been pawned, or something like that. But don't go to have I been pawned with POR, because that's very bad. If you go to have I been pawned with PANE, pawned, PAWN. But don't go to the other one, have I been PORNED, because then that could send things crazy. Okay, so listen, for those of you who are not absolute degens, that's the show for today. For those of you that are degens, you can stay for the extra module in the show. In the show, pawned, P-A-W, pawned. Andre Stancilius is watching our show. That's for you. So anyway, listen, for those of you who are not degens, now we're going into a very different part of the show. We're going to talk about low cap tokens, stinky low cap tokens, which I don't encourage anybody to buy. No one should buy these stinky low cap tokens. I've bought some of them. I will show you what I've bought. I bought very small positions because you can't buy lots because they're very, very low cap stuff. Just while we waiting for everyone to leave who's not part of the big boys club. Well, look at Swissborg. SQD up 5.99%. It's going to go up a lot more. AI XPT, AI agents, very nice, very, very nice, very, very nice. All right, let's talk about, look, so now I just want to just make it very clear here. So a lot of people said, look, we want some more small cap tokens and stuff like that. Hold on, something's happening here. Have I been pawned? PWNED. Pawned. I actually want to see something, just as a matter of, just for fun. Have I been pawned? Let's start with PORNED. Let's see what happens. I just want to see if there's a site like that. Oh, okay, there's no site like, well, I mean, we haven't found the site of have I been pawned, only pawned. Anyway, okay, so you can go to that site and you can go and check it out. Okay, cool. So I want to show you a token that actually it's a product that I've been messing around with. So I'm going to show it to you here. Let me just see if I can get, for 1 second, I'm going to take you guys off that screen and I'm just going to see if I can actually get to that. Okay, so this is actually, believe it or not, a new internet browser. It's a internet browser, a privacy internet browser. It's called Lens. So you can see that you can have multi-tabs like a normal browser. It's a privacy preserving internet browser, which means that there's no cookies, doesn't give away your details and stuff like that, like the Brave browser. But it's also got integrations into Web3. Now, this is not a sponsored content. I've never spoken to the team. I don't even know who the team are. This just came across my radar. It's called Lens Protocol. That's the chart over there. It's trading at a very small FTV, like 8.5 million FTV. But I kind of looked at this project and I was like, hold on a second. Like, this is like, these guys have actually built a browser. They are actually doing a lot of releases around this browser. The tokens trading at an $8 million market cap. It's called Get Lens now. Again, I've got no affiliation with these guys. I bought a little bit just because I thought it looked pretty interesting. I posted in front runners. You see, again, with that one, I don't actually think you need a VPN, or maybe you do. I'm not sure. Yeah, they also integrate a lot into Web3. So yeah, you can see that. Here, let me just show you. I think that that's the site. They also got like Web3 integration. So during our integration with Solana blockchain and the entire web ecosystem, Lens now supports add to watch list, automatic clipboard detection for Solana contract addresses. So they are actually integrating a lot into Web3. That's one of them that I actually liked. Very, very cool. Again, I bought some at more or less the current price. I'm not telling you guys to buy it. Please don't buy it. I'm just showing you what I've done. Also, there was another token which I looked at, and This one is actually quite cool. The reason why I like this one, I've been watching this Launchcoin narrative. You know, like this Launchcoin, which is this real world asset projects, which are real world projects, which are launching on blockchain. So I've been watching Launchcoin and the Launchcoin ecosystem. And this, I looked at this 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, which came up in one of our research calls. And this 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 is effectively what it is. It's an app where you upload your own closet into the app. And basically it has like a stylist, shows you what to wear. Now, the reason why I love this so much is because I've got so many clothes in my wardrobe and I never know what to wear. So I always end up wearing the same shit. Like I wish like an app would tell me, wear this today, wear that tomorrow, stuff like that. And so this actually does it. The coin's called 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏. Again, very low market cap coin from this thing. Again, I don't know the team. I haven't spoken to the team. I haven't done a lot more research. I just think that it's a pretty cool thing. 300K downloads, 300 million views on social media, and over 1 million pieces uploaded by our users. So yeah, just very cool to see these things actually happen and get like actual good traction. Alrighty, remember yesterday I did a show for you guys, and I said that BTCC, one of our sponsors, is willing to give 10% money back to anyone that deposits anything over $500. So if you deposit anything over $500, you get immediately 10% that deposited into your account, but it's only up to $100,000. So if you deposit $100,000, you get $10,000 deposited into your account. Then you can withdraw the $100,000. Like, it's quite simple. So a lot of you actually did that. I think they'll carry on honoring the deal, but they're going to stop the deal at some point because they said that there were too many people that actually signed up. So keep trying. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I can't promise you it's going to work because they said that too many people are doing it and we have to stop at some point because they're literally giving you 10% and you can just withdraw your money, which is like, it's the most no-brainer thing and there's no KYC. Anyway, so now Bybit came and said, no, we're not going to allow this. So they've got this promotion, but again, they've limited the number of people. If you are a new user on Bybit and you deposit $100, you will get 20 NXCP tokens. Now, these tokens, I don't know anything about the token. I've got to be honest with you, I couldn't care about the token, but I know the token's worth $60. So you deposit 100 and you get $60. Like, sign up, complete the task, claim the reward. Simply deposit. See, deposit 100 within 7 days of receiving the task, and you can just get, I think you just have to sign up. Let's just see what the price of this NXCP thing is. So NXCP. NXCP. I think it's like $3, bro. Nexus space, $2. So they said that you deposit 100, but you're going to get $60. So maybe now it's gone down. Let's just see. Yeah. All right. And then lastly, guys, I did ask you guys yesterday if anybody wants to work in research, but specifically people that are very, very, very much into altcoins. I'm not looking for macro geniuses. I'm looking for people who are obsessed with altcoins. People that surf Twitter all day, get into Discord groups, live in Telegram groups, and really know the technology and really can tell me whether one altcoin is better than another altcoin. I'm looking for those guys to come and work with us full time. It's the best job that you can ever have. It's also a very, very tough job, but it's the best job that you can ever have. You'll end up making a ton of money on the markets. If you do want to do that, there is a link below. Go to the link below, but you'd have to complete this questionnaire just so we can sift out the people who know what they're talking about from the grifters. We don't want grifters working here. I see we've got 1,100 likes, so thank you so much, guys. Like, that's like, well done. Like, you guys have really upped your game. And when you up your game, then I have to up my game. So tomorrow I'll be back here bringing you crypto love and crypto wisdom and a ton of alpha. I see we're just under 110,000. Maybe if we finish off with the market prayer, we can get back to 10,000. What do you say, guys? Okay, close, but no cigar. 109,909. I'll see you guys again tomorrow. Until then, trade well, my friends.